And the Pathfinder 2nd Edition playtest live, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so the first part of the playtest. Since it's a playtest, I think I'm gonna start with a in medias res kind of style. So I'm just gonna give you the what happened so far straight up, and then we'll jump right into it. Kellery Deverin, an aristocrat and scholar living in Magnamar, has a problem. Just a week ago, she received an invitation from her cousin Kendra, mayor of the nearby town of Sandpoint, to attend that town's upcoming Swallowtail Festival. Savvy connoisseurs of the Pathfinder universe will probably have noted that this adventure takes place before the very first adventure path actually starts. So it takes place in the year 4707. So 11 years prior to Golarion's present.
Mm-hmm.
And the events of the first adventure path, Rise of the Rune Lords, have not happened yet, which means that knowledge of the ancient empire of Thassalon remains obscure and unknown to the world at large. And lots of things are to come for Mericiel, but little do they know. With the festival's focus on the consecration of Sandpoint's new cathedral, Kellery hoped to bring a family heirloom, the Star of Desna, to receive a blessing. But as she prepared for her trip, an unexpected complication arose. When Kellery entered the old vault beneath the family estate to retrieve the star from storage, she found the chamber in total disarray. Chests lay smashed about the room, shelves were knocked over, and worst of all, the steel lockbox containing the Star of Desna was missing. The source of the robbery was made evident by a gaping hole in the center of the floor, leading down into the sewers, and sewage stains in the shape of goblin footprints leading out of it.
I knew it.
Enraged, Kellery lashed out at the now empty shelves and ruined containers, only to find that she was not alone. A quiet whimpering came from behind a partially collapsed armoire. Investigating, she found a lone goblin, wounded and wretched. Kellery demanded answers about her stolen heirlooms, but the goblin only began howling in greater terror and begged for mercy. Kellery's rage subsided, and she asked the goblin what had frightened her so. The goblin introduced herself as Talga and explained that her tribe, the Mud Chewer tribe, had been enslaved by a brutish hobgoblin named Dracus the Taker, who was forcing members of her tribe to dig into vaults and basements all around town to rob Longshanks of loot and treasure. Those who refused were taken away, only to have their blood-drained bodies put on display as a warning to the other goblins. Immediately after the robbery on the Deverin basement, Talga and a few other desperate goblins rebelled, but they were cut down and slaughtered. Only Talga survived by retreating up to the Deverin vault and hiding. Now, with no home and nearly paralyzed with fear over the fate of her fellow goblins under Dracus's increasingly violent rule, Talga became desperate. She begged Kellery to send adventurers to her old lair, a complex called the Ashen Ossuary that was accessible via the Magnamar sewers. She promised to sketch a map of the lair and to lead Kellery and anyone who might help to the entrance, and vowed that in return she would work to spread the word among other goblin tribes in the sewers that Longshanks are friendly. While Kellery was sympathetic to the tale, she is a scholar, not an adventurer. However, she does have contacts and knows of at least one eager new nominee for the task. Ever the forward thinker, she hopes that by calling upon allies, you, she can not only recover her stolen heirloom, but perhaps even start a new diplomatic alliance between Magnamar and one of its most notorious antagonists. So I've turned the introduction into a handout. If you want to reference it, go back and check on the names and stuff. But before we go right to the entrance of the Ashen Ossuary, we can take a moment for each of you guys to introduce yourselves. I would assume that all of you have some sort of connection to a calorie. That doesn't necessarily mean that you know each other, but you may very well have worked together in the past because of your common contact. So,
Well,
who wants to start? Yeah, Cardis, why don't you go ahead?
well, depending on what backstory Ulric has, he and Elfman could have been, well, former allies at least, because Elfman used to live in the forest for at least 15 years before he left to rejoin the civilization. And well, he's very conflicted upon this quest because, well, these are goblins, you know.
Okay. Sam.
Samir is a nomad that hails from distant, deserty lands, who's been kind of on a journey of self-discovery. He's been roaming the what's the place called?
Kalimshan?
Wherever we are right now.
Magnamar?
Magnamar, yeah. So he found himself there and he's doing odd jobs here and there to support himself, which I guess is how he found himself in contact. That's it.
Okay. So he's more working as a mercenary sort of bodyguard for someone else in the party.
Yep.
Okay. And Anthony?
And maybe during Elfman's time spent in the forest, he befriended a local druid who lived there.
Probably. I mean, Elfman actually was, quote-unquote, raised / held captive by the fake creatures that lived in the forest, so he really could use some help escaping.
I see. Well, I think that a passing druid named Ulric Hemmlhed might have been able to give him a hand in his desperate bid to escape the Fae, and ever since they've maintained a good relationship, call upon each other in times of need.
Sort of. I mean, Magnimar is a big city, at least for a kid who never saw civilization for decades. So,
well,
yeah.
Ulric prefers the forests to the city life, but he does stop into town on occasion and check in on his human friend named Elfman.
Yeah. And I suppose since that is 10 years before everything happened, so Magnimar doesn't have the Pathfinder Lodge yet.
No.
So yeah, I guess then Elfman will just, live in a park, I suppose.
All right. So, if you want to share, which background feeds did you pick?
Okay, quick question.
Yeah.
Should we have picked a background from the adventure or a generic one?
Yeah. No, from the Doomsday Dawn.
Crap.
Oh, I picked just a scout.
Oh, you all forgot that? I tried to point that out, but there's lots of new stuff, so no wonder that got lost. So, yeah, you should pick a background feed from page 3 in the Doomsday Dawn PDF. So that actually is your built-in connection to.
Okay, so it's an extra background on top of the regular background from the rules?
No, instead of.
Okay.
You must select from the following unique character backgrounds while creating characters. And yeah, so that's where you get your 2 ability boosts from.
So that ends.
Okay, well, I'll take a minute to look at this quickly.
Sure. Yeah. So why don't you guys take a couple of minutes and I'll get a drink.
Yeah, I got so wrapped up in the rule book that I didn't even look at Doomsday Dawn, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was kind of like a society scenario.
Yeah.
And plus, I thought, I felt if it was like an AP, there would be a player guide.
Holy crap! It's 100 pages long.
Yeah.
There's like an actual story here. I didn't even realize this.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I will pick the Mindquake Survivor. It will allow me to keep my current stats and only replace my feat, my Forager feat with a Dubious Knowledge feat. What is a Dubious Knowledge feat, I wonder?
Guess I'm gonna be a Pathfinder hopeful.
Maybe everybody who's done picking their background feed can post a quick X in the chat or something like that. So.
Yeah, I think I will be the Mindquake Survivor now.
Oh yeah.
It will pretty much allow me to keep my current stat line because it will. Yeah, one is to Wisdom and one a free ability boost. And it will only replace my Forager feat with a Dubious Knowledge feat.
All right.
I think I'll pick the same.
I guess it would be more fun if you would mix it up. Yeah. Is there anything else you can find that might work?
Not really.
The fact that it plays into your stat line is kind of
yeah.
makes it a little more difficult.
Kindness, can you pick something else maybe?
Well, I could pick Family Friend, but considering that I kind of already stated that Elfman ran away from home 15 years ago, that was a very distant friend.
Well, I'm gonna do the Pathfinder Society hopeful.
Okay.
Let me see. Maybe I can keep my stat line with Family Friend. One stat boost must be to Charisma, so where is the breakdown? It's a good thing that I wrote down all the stats that I used. So, yeah, I get +2 from human ancestry. Well, I suppose I could shift around. Yeah, I could pick the friend and and put it in charisma, and then shift around the stat boost from human ancestry to keep my current stat line.
If you wanna stick with Mindquake, I could maybe take the Esoteric Scion. It's just that the flavor doesn't really fit, but stat-wise it would work.
Well, essentially, I can't be female friend because originally I planned Elfman for the Kingmaker campaign, and I somewhat plugged him in as a noble scion in there. So,
Well, you shouldn't ignore the flavor of those feats because I'm sure that there will be connections in the adventure. That's why they make you pick one of those.
so yeah, I suppose this would be the good time to mention that Elfman is not his real name, because well, when you grow around fake creatures, you don't want them to know your real name. So, if someone asks, then his actual name is Baldur Ragnarsson.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So you pick the family friend.
Yes, let's go with family friend. And now
Okay.
I now need to learn what is the Hobnobber feat.
Okay. And Samir is a Mindquake survivor. Okay. Excellent.
And does that mean that we need to figure out a background for Mericiel too?
No, I think that's fine. I mean, she's a breach.
Well, I mean, she's Mericiel. I mean, she already has a
right.
background.
She's just Maria, so. Okay, so
I'm just trying to figure out
Yeah.
a lore skill to be proficient in.
right. And Mericiel is probably she's the connection to Kellery, as it turns out. They're old friends, and Mericiel was also on her way to the Swallowtail Festival, probably to meet up with Kyra there. And when she heard of Kellery having trouble getting on her way, she stopped, gathered some more or less trustworthy companions, and rushed to her help. When the adventure begins, we'll be just outside the entrance to the Ashen Ossuary, the lair of Dracus the Taker and the oppressed Machua tribe. You've traveled here through the Magnamar sewers, and now that you've found the entrance to the ossuary, you can return to the surface and rest anytime you want. Just keep that in mind. It's only a 10-minute trip to make it back to the surface. However, the Swallowtail Festival is scheduled to take place in just 7 days, so Kellery would appreciate it if you can accomplish your mission before that time is up. All right. Let me take you to the other map. And you to the right
Just a
focus.
quick question.
Yeah.
How long standing is the Pathfinder Society at this point?
Well, I mean, it's probably centuries old.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is still a very old organization.
Yes, absolutely. The Magnamar just hadn't had a lodge for quite some time, for numerous reasons. But the society is still old. It's like at this point, it's already 400 years old. Actually, it has its 400-year anniversary this year. Okay, so the damp sewer passages have led to a slimy cistern that stinks of decay. On the northern edge, which on this map will actually be to your left, on the northern edge of this circular chamber lies a pile of burnt bones in front of a scorched tunnel. As you make your way into the chamber and get ready to explore the complex beyond this already foreboding entrance, something stirs in the puddles of sewage and slimy residue and other detritus, and an amorphous mass stirs and makes its way out of a puddle, slowly oozing towards you. And we can start with an initiative.
Oh shit! How do I run an initiative here?
You roll perception in the most circumstances, I believe.
Okay.
Unless you were stealthing around or something like that.
Exactly. And in this case, for example, it says that this ooze thing was lying in wait or hiding or whatever, so it actually uses its stealth for initiative. And you can use your perception.
Could you give Samir 30 feet of light? He's carrying a hooded lantern.
Okay. 30 feet of light. And you have your one hand free at all times?
Yeah.
Okay. I made a initiative macro. If you click your token, you should have a button up there that says initiative, and then you can use it so you end up in the
I don't see it.
initiative order.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
If you click your token, you don't see it?
No.
Maybe now?
I see it now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Ulric is a 13. Elfman is a 9. Who wants to roll for Mericiel?
What's
And I need a roll for Samir.
So what's her perception then?
Who wants to keep her sheet up?
I have it open. She is... Where is perception here? +3.
Does anybody roll it? Yeah, there we go.
There.
So 20. Okay. Exciting. The first round of combat in Pathfinder 2nd edition. Samir, you spot the ooze as it starts to bubble in its puddle and realize that it's a threat, apparently. So you get to act first.
Okay, so question, is this a circular room?
It is a circular room, yes? Why?
Okay.
Does it not look circular?
No, it does. I was just trying to figure out if that was just the light or something.
Yeah, I guess it's late.
No, it's clear. It's fine. So, question. If Samir wanted to try to figure out what this thing is, what would he do?
I guess, yeah, I tried to look it up, and they don't have a neat list that says which sort of knowledge covers which class of creatures. They just say that more vaguely, which I guess is intentional. So maybe let's do it the other way around, and you offer a skill and or skills, and I can tell you if you can try that.
Okay, and identifying, I guess, is trained only?
There's a use of some of the skills. For example, the nature skill that says recall knowledge, and that's a particular use for a bunch of different skills. So you could use that.
Oh, recall seems to be untrained.
Okay.
Would religion help?
Religion, no.
Well, in that case, Samir is going to try to identify this thing by punching it.
Okay.
So he's going to take one action to stride. And he is going to take one action to perform a flurry of blows, which is 2 attacks for the price of 1 action.
That's just a single action, and it has no restrictions on having moved before or after.
No, let me triple check. But I think the only restriction is that it's only once per round.
Nice. You really have to
Yeah.
throw out all your
Yeah, the preconceptions.
yeah. Okay, cool. So you move and then you go pom pom,
Yep.
pummeling it once, twice.
Let's see that.
And the first hit is very hard, and it's actually it is a critical success, but in this particular case, because the creature is immune to critical hits, it doesn't help. But
Ooh.
yeah, but it nevertheless is a hit, and the second one is 2.
Okay.
Yeah, the
So
amorphous thing is very easy to hit. We're very slow moving.
It's a hard hit because oozes are non-Newtonian creatures.
so in that case, because of flurry of blows, the damage is combined before applying resistances and stuff like that.
Nice. Okay.
So I'll just double the roll.
Okay. I'll share some macros, some generic macros with you, which I made with the roll template. I think that's a little easier to read.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you want to use those. They should show up in your macros list, and you may have to put them in your macro bar. They are not token actions.
Yep.
Okay, but nevertheless, that is an oh, you rolled both of them at the same time, so it's 13 points of damage. All right, so you pummel the creature, which is quite viscous to the touch. It feels very strange, and it gives a sucking sound when you pull your fists back, but you do damage it quite profoundly. Nevertheless, it is still there, and it's still oozing, and still seems to be agitated. Mericiel, who wants to take Mericiel for a spin?
I actually still have one last
Oh,
action.
right. Oh, of course, you have 3 actions now. I'm sorry.
And for the last action, I think he will just attack again. And I guess this time it will be
At a -5?
at them. I don't know if it's just 5 or the full 10.
I mean, it feels like it's the 3rd attack this round.
But it's per attack action that happens. So he only took 1 attack action for flurry of blows, even though he got 2 attacks out of it.
Oh yeah, is that the wording? Per attack action?
I think that's how it's supposed to be, isn't it?
Well, that would be good.
If you attack more than once on the same turn, you're it just says if you attack. It's an attack and cumulative, it doesn't apply to attacks when you take it. When it isn't your turn, yeah, I don't know.
I would think a flurry of blows is just 1 attack.
Yeah, it's just 1 action, so I think we can go with the -5. But I would just hope that they made the wording clearer.
Okay then. Well, because
I think we should keep that in mind as feedback.
Yeah.
And I think they should put it in the description of the flurry of blows. It should say this only counts as 1 attack for the purposes of, whatever they call it, iteratives. So.
Okay. Okay, the penalty on this one is a -4 because the fists are agile. But at any rate, I don't think that's gonna land.
Oh yeah, it
Oh,
does.
wait.
It does say the second time you use an attack action, anything with the attack trait. So it is clear. We did the right thing. Okay, that's a hit.
A 6.
Yes, it is. It's a very slow moving amorphous blob of ooze. It's very easy to hit. And that's 10 points of damage, but it's still there. Mericiel.
Who wants to go?
Sam, why don't you just take her? And you have the sheet up, right?
Sure. Okay, so she has, where's her speed? 30 feet. So she's going to stride. That's one stride, and she is going to take one attack action. And it says that she has suppress attack. On the first round of combat, creatures that haven't acted are flat-footed.
Okay, and flat-footed is a condition? Question mark?
Yes, I think it's just a -2 now. It's not if you lose dexterity.
Okay, does anybody have the page reference for conditions? It's not that I don't believe you, it's just that I want to get used to
Well,
looking
it's
things
mostly
up.
prerequisite to get a sneak attack, I suppose, and considering how easy that thing is to hit, the flat-footed isn't probably won't come into play.
There we go. Conditions. Flat-footed. You're unable to focus your full attention on defense. You take a -2 circumstance penalty to AC. Okay. So it's actually at a -3 now. Yeah, at an AC of 3.
Okay, so she is going to attack twice with her rapier.
Yeah, don't put a plus in there.
Oh,
Otherwise
right.
it'll mess it up. But that's fine. It's an 18. That's a hit. And a 10. That's also a hit.
But that should be just a 5.
Okay, that's still a hit.
Damage is piercing.
Five points. And 7 points. All right. Yeah, it takes a beating, but nevertheless, it survived all of them and kind of slumps forward to slam Samir with what's a pseudopod that it grows all of a sudden. Sort of lashes out with it at you.
That's a hit.
Okay, so it does 3 points of regular damage, and as it touches you, it burns like hell because apparently it is quite acidic. That's the first thing it does for 1 point of acid damage, and then the next thing that happens is that it starts to bubble, and all of a sudden unleashes a wave of filth and slime that catches Samir, Mericiel, and Ulric in its range, and everybody takes everybody does a reflex save.
Is this
Is this what?
sorry? Is this considered a magical attack?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
16 made it.
This one is from Mericiel.
Failed. failed. Okay, so the ones who failed take 3 points of damage. And are hampered 10 feet. And you are being hampered because of this acidic muck really clinging to your body, to your arms and legs. It's quite sticky, and that is hampering you a great deal. The one who saved, which was Samir, you take no damage and you are not hampered. Critical failure, how much do you have to miss the DC by to count as a critical failure, or is it only a 1?
I think it's 10.
5. Okay.
I think the general rule is that critical success and failure are always +10 or -10.
Is it?
You might be
I think
right
because
about
the success is +10. I don't think the failure is -10. But I could be wrong. Because it would mean that a whole lot of tasks you basically can't crit fail.
Degrees of success.
Which page is that?
I don't know. I will look it up right now. It probably will be playing the game in checks. Ability modifier now.
292.
Determine determine degree of success. Success and critical success. If you succeed and roll a 20 on your die.
Yeah, no, Sam's right. It's a natural 1 or the DC -10, you crit fail. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So it's not a crit fail for anyone. Okay, so it's just a damage and hampered for the ones who failed, and no damage and no hampered for Samir, who made his save. That was the second action of that creature, and then with its last action, it's going to lash out with its pseudopod at Mericiel, taking the -5 because the Filth Wave doesn't have the attack trait. At least I wouldn't know where I would find that it has the attack trait. It would probably literally say attack, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a symbol or anything.
No, I think there's a list. There's a little greenish box with the list of traits.
Well, that's the creature traits, but I mean the traits for this action. If the Filth Wave counts as an attack, that's what I was wondering. But I guess it's not. So it's just a -5 on the roll, which is a +2 in total of 4 against Mericiel, so that she probably easily dodges that even when hampered. And Ulric's turn.
Ulric, is there anything I can do to like wipe this filth off of me? Can I spend an action to do that, or?
In fact, you can. If you want to clean off the muck, it takes an interact action, and it will reduce the hampered condition by 5 feet with each action.
By 5 feet for each action?
Yeah, so you're hampered 10 feet, so it'll be 2 actions to get completely rid of it.
The question, is hampered only speed reduction?
Why don't we find out?
I'm almost positive that it is, yeah. Although I was just wrong about the last 2 things that we brought up, so.
Conditions. Hampered.
Where are the conditions?
320 and onward. Hampered. Your speed is reduced. Hampered is always followed by a number indicating by how much condition reduces your speed. This condition can't reduce your speed below 5 feet. Blah. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so would making a knowledge check count as an action?
Well, recall knowledge is marked as an action. Yeah.
It is an action. Okay. I'm going to spend Okay, let's recall knowledge before I do anything else.
Okay.
Using nature, I guess.
Yeah, let's go with that. I'm not entirely sure myself, but I think it could work.
Either that, or
So-
I did give myself lore Magnamar. If it's something that it's a frequent sight in the city. But I said nature first, so I could.
No, go with the lore Magnum. I like that.
Okay, it's a much worse roll, but do it.
It's a different DC, I would think, because it's very specific. Like the skill is very specific, so the DC should be lower.
Well, I
But
rolled
not
a 3.
Well, it's icky.
This is why I never spend time in sewers. And he spends the rest of his actions to just wipe the muck off. Oh, shit.
Excellent. All right, so you use an action for a one-liner and then 2 actions to get the muck off.
Yeah, you got it.
And Elfman.
Well, Elfman also wants to try to check nature knowledge on the ooze, if you allow
Okay,
that.
go ahead.
Okay, my knowledge nature is +2.
Okay, that's pretty high. So you recognize this thing as in a sewer ooze. They sometimes make their way through filthy culverts beneath cities large and small, and they are medium mindless oozes. I believe it says you a bit of knowledge. Okay, I think there was a more general description about monster lore and how it should work.
Oh, so it's a ooze in the sewers. This must be a sewer ooze! Enthusiastically yells Elfman, pointing his staff at the ooze in the
Very
sewers.
smart. Very
Yes.
smart. Just trying to figure out if there is like a general rule how to handle giving out monster information. I thought I remember seeing that somewhere.
Very astute observation.
Of course, I mean, I was renowned for my observative skills back in the forest. Don't worry, guys, I will take care of this. He says Elfman, swinging his stuff in the air. What was it? Oh, right. Radius Gilius! And he shoots out a ray of frost at the thing.
Yes, freeze it. Make it solid.
Okay, your ranged touch hits dead center and freezes the ooze indeed solid, and it just crumbles right after and is destroyed.
Oh, there we go. Nothing to worry here, says Elfman, completely clean and not marred in icky goop. Let me take care of the rest as well. And like Parvus Calumina, and he cast Prestidigitation to clean up Mericiel and Ulric. Apparently, when you cast Prestidigitation with a primal spell list, you can do only either clean up or cook properties. That's weird.
Okay. So we'll now move from encounter mode to exploration mode. I'm just gonna make this extra. I'm gonna just kind of going to stress these things. I mean, they're supposed to move very fluently from one to another, but I think it's interesting from a learning standpoint, because in exploring mode, I am supposed to ask you to give me like your general tactics, like how are you proceeding into the ossuary? Are you going to go very slowly and watch every quicker to avoid being in one place for too long, that kind of thing?
Well, I suppose Elfman will stick by his friend Ulric, and well, that would depend where in the marching order Ulric will be.
Ulric's gonna stay. Well, I don't know. We've got a rogue and a monk. So
Samir is happy to take the lead.
Well,
Ulric will follow behind Samir then.
okay,
And
then Elfman will follow Ulric, and Mericiel will watch our flank.
Okay, well that's the marching order, but what's your general tactics?
Well, Elfman doesn't really like goblins, despite being in tune with nature, and so he would suggest not spending too much time in the same location, and well, generally go through the sewers quickly, and because it also reeks really bad here.
ossuary. More of a crypt, isn't it?
Well,
I know I said sewer before, but
yeah, this is still the last bit of the sewers, and you're standing right in front of the.
oh, okay. Ulric will be sort of observing the stonework as we go. While he's a druid, he's still a dwarf deep down in his heart. Gotta check out the quality of craftsmanship here, and he's making sure to try and use his dark vision to look as far down the passage as possible when he can. Yeah, he's just generally staying at the ready. Never been a big fan of goblins.
I imagine that Mericiel will try to stick to the shadows in the back. And, well, Samir is carrying the lights for... who needs it? For himself. So he'll just go ahead and try not to step on any other goo.
Okay. Give me a second here. I have to rearrange my setup.
Oh, and I should say that Ulric, after this encounter with the ooze, is going to pull out a heavy wooden shield that he had strapped to his back. Now keeps on his left arm.
I feel very uncomfortable since it looks like it would be up to me to negotiate with goblins, should we meet any. And, well, Elfman does it only because Miss Deverin is a dear family friend and who probably helped him out in the city to get settled from the wildlife. So he's really indebted to her, and, well, it's really awkward.
Well, just try not to screw it up, Society wants this thing to go well, and I really need them to look favorably on me, so it's all up to you.
Well, I mean, how well could it go when you negotiate with goblins? Hisses Elfman for his teeth.
So you move into the Ashen Ossuary itself, and the narrow corridor takes a turn and ends in a long chamber the walls of which are scorched dark, and the thick layers of soot crusting to the ceiling above attest to the tremendous fire that must have raged through this room in the past. Burial niches in the walls and the row of central pillars contain only fragments of burnt wood and charred bone. As you enter the chamber, you hear sniggering and chuckling from somewhere at the northern end of the chamber. And as the light of your lantern falls into the chamber, the snickering suddenly stops. We can go right to the next initiative.
I'm assuming perception.
Yeah, unless you were stealthing. Mericiel might want to roll stealth.
Well, let's try to relax stealth for her. And her stealth is...
+4.
Okay.
That was for Mericiel.
Yep, that worked. I'm missing Ulf. Oh, but it's a 19. Okay. Ulric, not Ulf.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
I forgot the initiative.
And Ulric, you're actually the first one.
Okay, so yeah, Ulric will. He hears this this laughter and such, and does it sound like goblin-y laughter?
It does.
Okay, he'll use a stride action. Word here, 5, 10, and which way is north on this
Left.
map?
Left.
Okay. Okay. In that case, he'll go this way. Then I would say 5, 10, and he'll just call out.
Okay, if you move there, there's already one goblin that was apparently busy with his buddies. It's quite obvious that he's not alone. I mean, you heard their voices before, but you can't quite see what it is that they were doing because their center of attention is behind that pillar, so you can't quite see.
Are we supposed to see them now?
What? What do you mean?
Are we supposed to see goblins in the map?
There's only one that's visible, and I guess only to Ulrich vision. That's far enough.
Okay.
Okay. So Ulrich calls out. I assume it looks like the goblins noticed us.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So Ulrich looks at the goblin and he points and he says, "You! We're here to talk to Dracus! Take us to him!" And he'll also take an action to raise his shield just in case.
Okay. Mericiel?
I imagine she will take 1 or 2 stride actions to get into position.
All right.
That's the first one. I think she will take a second stride.
My dynamic lighting doesn't seem distance. I don't know how far she can. I'm just gonna put all the goblins on the map, and you'll have to figure out yourselves if you can see them or not. But it
Okay.
doesn't seem to be working. Okay, that was that. Question mark.
Yeah, she'll just take those 2 actions and that's it.
Okay, then it's Samir's turn.
Well, he will try to see who do we have to deal with, then we'll move ahead to... Okay. Yeah, he's just going to say, yes, we would like to speak.
All right, the goblins looking at you, looking at each other, and then they grin maniacally, and then in their goblin language, they talk to each other, and they just go like pointing at you, mocking the way that Ulric raised his shield, and giggling and chuckling. And then suddenly, their smile turns into a grimace as they grab their wicked-looking dog slicers and they lunge at you.
Oh,
So
well.
this guy moves over there and he tries to slice you with his dog slicer.
Nope.
It's a miss. Wait a second. Backstabber trait only is relevant when flanking, right?
I have them here. Backstabber, when you hit a flat-footed creature, yeah.
Okay, it deals 1 precision damage. Okay. Well, how would they get him? Anyway, then the next goblin is gonna jump at Mericiel, or at least try to, and swings dog slicer once. 25 is a hit.
25 is a hit, but not a crit.
Okay, and he slashes her for 4 points of damage, and then swings his dog slicer again at a -5 for 7. I also forgot that the other one can do that again at a -5, but that's also a miss. The other 2 goblins, they run around and they scurry around and up to here to buddy up with the other goblin. And in a flurry of wicked stabs and slashes, he tries to attack you once, twice, but missing with both attacks. And the one down here tries to do the same thing with Mericiel. 18
is a hit.
And Mericiel takes another slash for 1 point of damage. And a 20 is also a hit with this iterative for 3 points of damage. So Mericiel gets slashed and stabbed badly by the goblins, who have a blast seeing her bleed, and they laugh at every wound. Elfman.
Elfman feels very relieved that his biases are confirmed about goblins being brutish creatures that worthy only of horrible death. But at this point, like, he will step inside 5 feet. 5 feet.
Oh, sorry. I'm still trying to understand the stat blocks. I forgot one thing that they can do and that they probably want to do. They have a reaction that gets triggered when a goblin ally ends a move action adjacent to them, and they get to step. So this guy gets to step, and this guy gets to step. That's that. Okay, sorry. I just had to do that.
So yeah.
And this guy gets to step too, because the other guy ended a move action there. So they scuttle around, working dangerously to flank you.
So yeah, Elfman would run inside, would swing his staff, and then notice that, oh my god, Mericiel, you're almost dead. let me help you, and he will let me measure distance once again. I suppose I can use two my actions for stride, right?
Yeah. But remember line of sight, and remember that those that.
Yeah, technically I shouldn't see them, right?
Yeah.
But well, if I run somewhere up here, so I suppose I would notice these two.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that
so I
would work fine.
So I could at least strategically position myself from that point.
Yep, and you would even get to peek into this little side chamber where a narrow passage opens up into a small burial that has been ransacked. Shattered remains of skeletons lie on the floor in twisted heaps among scattered rocks and debris. But the bodies of 4 recently killed goblins on display in the 4 niches are much more intact. So you kind of catch a quick glimpse of that as you move around.
Nothing is sacred for these creatures. What the hell? I mean, they probably don't even eat what they kill. Yeah, however, now I spent 2 actions to get to Mericiel, and my heal spell is only one somatic casting. So basically I need only to touch her to heal her for 1d8 plus my spellcasting ability.
Alright.
So I will heal her. Come on, I said heal her. There we go, 7.
7, okay. Ulric.
Ulric is going to see that Samir's getting ganged up on, and he's gonna step up here, muttering to himself, "This is why I don't spend time in ossuaries." 10. And he's gonna try to wedge himself in here. And I think he should be able to do that if he moves through Samir's space. Unless that hinders him.
And since they already used their reactions...
Well, I don't even know if they get attacks of opportunity or not, so...
Yeah, but they don't attack you.
Right.
Oh, right, not everybody gets attacks of opportunity.
Not everybody gets them. I'm like banking on... Are they like a fighter? Do they have that same thing that fighters have or not? I don't know.
You don't know, yeah.
Goblins, sneaky little goblins might, but yeah, they all reacted already. So, and then he's going to use his, he's going to expend a spell point to begin casting a spell, and he gives himself wild claws. His fingers elongate and become hard as bone and sharp. And that's going to be his whole turn.
Ooh. Those goblins better watch out. Mericiel.
Mericiel. Well, is this guy considered flanked? Let me. Where's the?
No. I mean, I would assume that flanking still follows the same rules.
Okay then.
If it just says adjacent, I don't know. Let's find out. Flanking 330. I hate that the page numbers are not the same as the PDF page number.
They're off by 1.
Yeah, but I can't seem to remember that. When you and an ally are on so a line drawn between the center of your space to the center of your ally space must pass through either opposite sides or opposite corners. That's pretty clear. So it's not flanking if you're like this.
Okay, so she's going to take 1 step over here.
Now it's flanking.
And she's going to step.
Hit. And miss.
So that's the weapon damage, and then she gets 1d6 precision damage. Yeah, 1d6 precision. That's her turn.
All right, so her opportune stab turns the grin of the goblin into a surprised mask of pain, and he slumps down. Samir?
Samir is going to spend one action to enter Wolf Stance, which allows him a different kind of unarmed attack. So now he's going to make a flurry of blows against this guy with his wolf jaw attacks, which just deal a little bit extra damage.
Okay. It's a hit. It's a miss. 9 points of damage. So just that single hit knocks the goblin right out.
D8.
And he is going to take his iterative attack against the other goblin in his reach.
Okay. That's a miss. Is that your turn?
Yep, that's all three.
Okay. So the goblins, as their buddies fall left and right, one of them kind of looks like he's about to bolt, but then the other one grabs him by the shirt and yells at him something in Goblin. And he goes, I'm dead, and they stand back to back as they continue to fight you. The first one attacking, Ulric, Samir, it's pretty much a toss-up, so I'm going to say one is Ulric. So he attacks Samir with his first action. A 9 is going to be a miss. Then with his second action, he attacks Samir, and with his last one, he attacks Samir again, missing all of his attacks. The other one attacks, another toss-up, Mericiel or Ulric, Mericiel. So that is first attack, 15.
For Mericiel, right?
Yeah.
Miss.
Okay, but then it's a natural 20, which is an automatic critical hit.
Yeah.
Is it?
I've seen it here. Rolling 20 is better, means you critically succeeded. Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't need a confirmation roll.
Yep.
Okay, so that means it's twice the damage, so that is going to be 2d6. This is the first one. And another one. 5. And then it has one last iterative at a -10. Well, that's a miss. That's probably a crit fail on an attack roll. Does that mean anything?
I don't think so. On attack rolls.
That would suck if it did.
There's nothing about critical failures.
Okay. Okay. That was the goblin.
What? You skipped somewhere.
That was the goblin's turn.
Uh-huh.
Now it's your turn.
Yeah. Well, seeing how his friends were very successful at slaying goblins, Elfman will be emboldened and he will poke out of his ghastly hiding space and twirl his staff once again, yelling, by by the white winters of Irisend, begone! Casting Ray of Frost point blank basically at the goblin right in front of him.
Mm-hmm. That's a miss.
And I still have one action, so I will spend it on the verbal casting by creating a shield spell.
Okay. That was your turn.
Yes.
And Ulric.
Ulric is gonna take that clawed hand of his and swipe at this goblin here.
And that's a hit. Five. And he's still standing, but he's severely bloodied.
Alright, I'll take a second swing at him, and because my claws are agile, it's only a -4. So
Oh, that's what that means. They should have gotten that too. That's a hit, another hit. I thought agile was that they can be used with dex, but that's finesse, right?
that's finesse.
Yeah.
All right, so your second swipe, cuts the goblin's belly wide open, and he collapses.
You're the
Third action.
predator, and I'm the predator, and you're the prey. That's what I meant. I'll raise my shield. As my
Okay.
last.
Mericiel.
Mericiel will stab the goblin. Yeah. Twice.
Does she have any benefit of flanking?
She does.
Because she
She
could
gets-
step twice.
Step-
Or she
oh,
could just-
right.
Or she could stride if she thinks that they don't have attacks of opportunity.
Actually, I'm not sure if she gets. Basically, she gets her sneak attack on flat-footed. But I don't know if flank counts as flat-footed.
No, flat-footed and flanked is different.
Wait, you can
Seems weird.
step?
Yeah, step is just an action, so up to 3 times a turn.
That doesn't provoke attack.
Yeah.
Yep. There's even an example in the rule book that does that against an.
Huh.
Well, she could. One
But that's a serious nerf if the sneak
Yeah.
attack only flat-footed, because flat-footed. Don't know if there are more ways to get someone flat-footed in 2E, but that's kind of hard to.
I imagine that the rogue class feats will have things around that.
Oh yeah, probably.
Okay, so I guess she will take one step over here and then stab twice.
Miss.
The 11, I guess, is also a miss.
Oh yeah. That's also a miss.
That's her turn.
All right, Samir.
Will step Can he step over the
I would say
goblin?
that they're how did they call it? Hampering terrain or something? Hampering terrain?
Okay, so it would have to be a move.
Yeah, it has to be a stride. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, stride. So he strides there and still in his wolf stance will take the flurry first.
So you keep your stance even if you use a stride action?
I think you stay in it until you enter a different stance or you take an action with the open trade.
Okay. That's a 15, that's a hit. And you knock the goblin out. He hits the sooty, burned, or hard.
That's some fancy moves you have, Mr. Samir.
Yes, most impressive.
Well, these are not very mighty foes.
But I'm sure they are worthy anyway, as most goblins are worthy of, of dying by steel or fist. Oh well.
Well, we should press on.
Indeed.
And
So where do
maybe
you wanna
this
go?
time, not try to talk.
Well, I mean,
Funny, I was thinking next time we should try to talk more. We
technically,
only had one left there. Thought we might have an opportunity to interrogate.
technically speaking, we were sent here to talk, but, well, if they choose to talk with their blaze, nobody can really blame us, right?
Ought we not to see what else is here before we move on?
Yeah, I kind of looked up in that niche. Elfman points his staff at the place, and there are dead goblins there, nothing to see. Well,
Dead goblins?
oh yeah, I mean, these are savage creatures, you know. I mean, can I actually make some nature knowledge check to determine how much do I know about goblins? Simon.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I was asking, can I make some recall knowledge check to see how much I actually know about goblins?
That would be, that could either be lore or society. Is there a society? I think there's society.
There is society.
Implying
Yeah.
that goblins have a society. Well, I actually have -1 in society, and my lore skills are about Dominion of Black. So,
Then I'm afraid.
well, I can roll with -1 to try at least,
Right, yeah.
to see how wrong I am.
Well, with that kind of role, you know that goblins are a common menace in most bigger cities, even in smaller towns. They tend to live on the junkyards, on the fringes of society, and they sort of live off the scraps of more civilized folks. There are also more savage tribes that live in the mush fens and other swampy or wilderness areas, and some are good people, I assume, but they are usually a violent, savage, and brutal group that relish in chaos and violence.
Yeah.
Was that an intentional Trump quote there?
A little bit, because I really hate this race is evil sort of approach of a lot of monsters.
Except for the ones who are PCs.
Yeah, exactly. Except for the ones who are PCs. Anyway, yeah. So I guess that's the sort of knowledge, like what a person on the street would know or think to know about goblins. All right. So you guys want to move on?
Yeah.
Ulric is checking out the dead bodies.
Ulric is checking out the dead bodies. There's not much to find about them. See,
How do they look like they were killed?
Oh, the bodies in that. Oh, over there. Okay.
Oh, is this where they are?
Yeah, that is where they are. I thought the goblin just slain this. Sure, you can look at them. Do you have medicine as a skill?
I do. Nope. I mean, I'm naturally decent at it.
Okay.
I'm not trying it.
Go ahead and give it a roll. Nice. Okay, so you notice or determine that the goblin few days dead. They're all goblin bodies. And you note a single finger-sized hole in the throat of each goblin, and the disturbing fact that the bodies are completely drained of blood.
That matches with what they say. Dalrek, Dutak,
Dracus.
That matches with what they say. Dracus does to the bodies, but this is sure a strange form of murder.
He. Can I make an educated guess that he probably feeds them to his pet sturge?
That he what?
Elfman is going to make an educated guess that the hobgoblin chief just feeds them to his pet sturge or some other horrible insect blood-sucking thing.
That sounds like a very educated guess to me.
Why, you haven't seen sturges? They're awful.
Oh, I've seen them around. Saying there's wisdom in it.
Sturges are disgusting, almost like goblins, but a little bit more. They're like sort of skittery and buzzy and blood-sucking. Ugh.
How about down this passage?
All right, you walk down that passage and end up in a roughly carved chamber that looks to have once been much larger. But now the entire southern half is choked with rubble and debris. And you sort of, inspect the chamber, give it, let your and then kind of shrug. Doesn't seem to be much to be found here. Turn around, and as you do, Elfman, behind Ulric, you see a bunch of giant centipedes.
Watch out, giant centipedes!
Skittering out from between the rubble. And we'll go with initiative again. They're going to roll their stealth because they're very stealthy creatures, I guess. Oops, that was the wrong roll. Here we go.
Since Mericiel is outside the room, can she use stealth for?
Yep, absolutely.
How many centipedes are we talking here?
A bunch. Can't really
like a
tell.
Swarm?
Well, it's not a swarm. They're giant centipedes.
Okay.
So we're talking a total of 6. that are still kind of in the process of squeezing through the narrow gaps in the rubble. And Ulric, apparently you heard them shift some of the little pebbles around behind you. You're the first one who gets to act.
I think I'm leaving. Shield up, and everyone out! Just back out of here! This was a mistake! But he's going to, yeah, I guess that's a step. He's not gonna leave Elfman there to face them alone, so he'll just back up, raise his shield, and the other actions. Is there an equivalent of some sort of defensive dodging, blocking type total defense thing? I really should have this more thoroughly before again.
I guess if there is, that would be one of the basic actions that they explain.
Well, there is a shield block ability that would, when you would react, spend a reaction to use your shield to absorb a blow.
Right, I have that going, but
Take cover. You press yourself against the wall or duck behind an obstacle to take better advantage of cover. No, that's not it.
Yeah, that's what Elfman is going to do, I suppose.
No, also not really. It's kind of specific. It's if you're using some sort of, if you're already getting some sort of cover bonus from somewhere, which would be a +2. If you take that action, you can turn it into a +4. So basically, if you're behind a hip high cover, you can hunker down and you would get the full cover bonus as an action. But other than that, I don't see anything.
Okay. Wow, they really don't give you a defensive option. Yes. Leap, ready, take cover, stride, strike. Unless you have a shield, which I've already done. And I don't have any spells that I can just one action, so I guess that's it.
So you're not actually leaving the room? You're just trying to usher everyone out?
I'm ushering everyone out and staying between them and the centipedes.
All right, Elfman.
Right. Well, Elfman, after yelling, "Oh my God, giant centipedes!" like he said, like, "Oh my, I changed my mind. The giant centipedes are way worse than sturges." So, clear the throat. By the wide winters of Mericiel, he will. Okay, that's a crit, I suppose. And the damage is doubled then. Do I roll another 1d8 or just make a 10?
You roll again. And which one did you attack?
The one right in front of me.
Okay. So let me see if they have any immunities or anything. I wouldn't suspect them to, but who knows. Okay, so that guy is frozen solid, just like the ooze was before. And then flash frozen and shatters.
And Elfman will use his last action to stride away, saying, well, Samir, you take care of the rest, please.
And Samir.
Well, Samir is torn between the desire to check out these creatures and wanting to listen to his comrade. I guess he will stride into the room, see what's happening.
So Ulric yells, "Everybody out!" And Samir walks in. Why? What's in there?
And Samir will take one other action to enter wolf stance,
Mm-hmm.
and he is going to just wait, maybe retreat later on along with Ulric.
So you're gonna ready, or are you just gonna forfeit your actions?
Oh, I haven't read about readying.
It's pretty much the same.
Can you do it with just one action?
Ready is 2 actions. You prepare to use an action that's outside your turn, but it's 2 actions.
Well, he only has one action left. I guess it's just forfeited.
Okay. Okay, so the centipedes get to act, and they skitter forth. They seem to be spilling out of that rubble like a wave of legs and dripping mandibles. All right, the first one is going to try and bite Samir. Where is the modifier? There it is. With its first bite attack, 15.
Nope.
And his second bite attack, again a miss. The next one is also going to attack Samir. First bite attack is another 15. Second bite attack, a 19.
Yep.
So that will be, well, find out. Is there a non-lethal damage in Pathfinder?
There is.
2e?
But I don't know the rule. I don't know if there's a rule about lethal damage turning to non-lethal about when.
Well,
You can make a non-lethal attack. Damage. Attacks to have spirit damage decrease hit points of 1 to 1. Damage comes in different types.
But what I do know is that to knock someone out, it has to be the last blow that is non-lethal.
Yeah, but it doesn't say. Doesn't say what you're doing when your damage gets reduced to 0 or less. Where does it say how your melee damage is calculated?
It's page 178, 177 of the PDF.
Okay. Damage rolls.
It doesn't say anything special.
Okay. I guess that's another thing for the feedback. Let's just assume that it works in edition, so that's one.
You're breaking up.
Let's assume that it works like in first edition, non-lethal damage.
Okay.
And now I missed, so that was 1, 2. Yeah, that was already 2. And then there's the third centipede that's gonna attack Ulric. First attack. Second attack. 15?
No.
Okay, so both of those attacks miss. Okay, and I'm just gonna say, Sam, that the centipede, because it was non-lethal damage, didn't really break the skin. So all you get from the venomous drippings from its mandible is just like an itching sensation on your skin. But you'll probably realize that they have something on their mandibles that's gonna do much worse if it gets into your system.
Okay.
Mericiel.
What do you guys think?
She has throwing daggers.
Anything that she tries to hit at range is going to be screened, which is because it has to go through me or Samir, and that just grants it a +1 to AC. It's not like cover anymore, anything like that.
But do we want her to get in and try to fight, or just prepare to run away?
I mean, if we at least get to the choke point, they can only come at us one at a time.
Well, in that case, we'll just have her stand back.
She can
Okay.
ready.
Here.
She can ready an
well,
action.
Yeah, one action to step and 2 actions to ready a thrown dagger. Would she have to draw the dagger?
Okay. Ulric.
Samir wanted to come in here, so Samir will go before they go again. So yeah, he should have a chance for everyone. So Ulric is going to. I guess my claws are probably gone. It's been more than a minute since.
You can step away and move to the choke point.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. First, though, I'm going to cast Produce Flame, which it won't provoke unless they have attacks of opportunity. They don't.
They don't.
And I think I can use it even though it's a ranged attack. Oh, I can use it as a touch attack. So I will use it as a touch attack against Centipede right in front of me, and that's a D4. Oh, where the heck is the spell? I don't like that the character sheets give you no room to like describe the spells at all, just as yourself.
Mm. Produce flame.
Yeah. Got it right here. It is a 1d4 fire damage on a critical success. It takes 1d4 persistent fire damage.
Okay.
And it's an attack cantrip fire. Okay, so it doesn't add your spellcasting ability modifier or anything.
And what does it mean? Like there's an action somatic cast and an action verbal casting. Does that mean that it's 2 actions to cast that?
Yes,
It's 2 actions to cast it, but that includes the touch attack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I have to roll a touch attack against their TAC, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's all my usual modifiers for melee. Oh God, a 7 against touch.
That's a miss.
Yeah.
So you still have 1 action?
Yeah, I'm just gonna step back out of the and post up right here.
Yeah, he's trying out of the cave. Elfman?
So, seeing how Ulric runs out, he says, "Well, how did it go? Did Samir kick their ass?" Yeah?
It's in process.
I see.
I would get ready if I was you.
I see. And Elfman was straight right back in. Oh, I even can see them from here. Oh, that's disgusting.
Shouldn't you be running away?
Well, I mean, and leave you here? Like, of course not. So who do you think I am?
Samir will catch up with you in an instant.
Well, since I'm already here, by the white winters of Wirison, and he shoots another ray of frost at this centipede.
This one? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hit for 4 points of damage. And your last action?
That was my last action.
Oh, it takes 2 actions to do that?
Oh yeah, it takes some magic and to yell by the white winters of Wilson.
Okay. Samir.
We'll take a flurry against this guy.
Mm-hmm. It's a hit. Critical hit, in fact.
Right. So it's gonna be.
And
Well, since it's doubled.
And with a satisfying crunch sound, you destroy that centipede.
And for the last action, I'm going to check skill uses.
What do you want to use?
Shove. Push. Nope. Oh yeah, maybe.
What are you looking for?
Well, I was trying to think of a way to. Oh yeah, it works. It works. So Samir is going to try to shove Elfman back 5 feet for his own safety. And in case of success, he can move 5 feet along with him.
Okay, so how's that working? That's a
It's
bull rush?
it's one action with the athletics skill.
Yeah.
Attempt an athletics check against your opponent's fortitude DC.
But what's the I mean, athletics is the skill, but what's the action?
Shove.
Shove. Oh, there it is.
It's page 147 here.
Okay.
So, athletics.
What is your fortitude DC, Carnus?
+2. So that
Is that
12, I
is my
guess.
that is my save. What is my fortitude DC? I actually cannot tell.
I think it's 10 plus bonus.
So it will be 12.
And is there some way for you to just relax and let it happen?
Well, maybe, but I prefer to have a dinner first at least.
Phrasing.
Yeah, that is probably good time to mention that Elfman's dad was an Ulfin barbarian, so yeah, it seems that he's not easily shoved away.
Yeah, looks like it. Okay, so the centipedes get to act, and of course they kind of swarm Samir. One after another, they get to take 2 attacks. And first one, 18.
Yep.
Okay, second one of that one is a 15, which probably
Nope.
misses. Okay, so it's another point of non-lethal damage. And then the other centipede tries to bite you. And another hit. For 3 points of damage, and I will need a 4. And a 12. And then the last one. Miss. Okay. Okay, fortitude save failed. Check the afflictions. I didn't memorize that. I find it somehow. Afflictions. Okay. If first exposed to the affliction, you must attempt a saving throw. Attempt to stave off the affliction. So, if you fail your save, you advance to stage 1. Okay. Let me see if there's an onset time for stuff. No, there's no onset. Affliction typically is mildly. At the end of a stage's interval, you must attempt a new saving throw. If it is money, you reach a given stage when you are subject to the effects listed for that stage. Okay, so since you're now entering, think that now you also take the effect, which is 1d6 of poison damage. That's its own type now.
Mm-hmm.
I see. And you're flat-footed.
Mm-hmm.
So you take 1 point of poison damage and you're flat-footed. That was the centipede's Mericiel.
Ulric turns to Mericiel and goes, I don't know what they're doing in there.
I think that Mericiel will wait. No, wait. Can she? She can't target this guy.
Nah.
She can't target any of them. Yeah, she will hold position.
Okay. Ulric?
We're coming out. We're coming out.
Can I ready an action to cast a spell?
I think so, yeah. Well, what
Because
does it
technically
say?
to cast the spell, you need 2 actions.
Right. What does the ready description say?
It says you can... Oh, God.
What page is it?
It's under...
307, 308 in the PDF. Actually, one page further, 308, 309.
Prepare to
Very
use an
easy.
action that will occur outside your turn. Choose a single action. Choose a
Choose
single action.
Single action. Yeah.
You can't ready spells anymore? Can I do one component of the spell, then ready the other component of the spell to...
I think that would probably, well, that's an interesting idea. Let's go to the spellcasting thing.
The thing that I read is that you can't split it over 2 turns.
Yeah, exactly,
Right.
but it would
Yeah,
basically still be the same turn.
Be part of the same round.
Yeah. He would just finish his turn later. It could be. You could do that. Where does it say how casting spell? You cast a spell. Spellcasting actions. You can spend those actions in any order you wish, provided you do so consecutively on a single turn. Yeah, I don't think you can do that.
Wow. That needs to be changed. That's pretty basic.
Yeah, I think it would be perfectly reasonable to say, like, I'm going to act, like, just hold it, and then I'll ready the other one.
Okay, then can I just delay my turn then?
Well, it also says some spells allow you to take a spellcasting action as a reaction or free action.
Yeah,
Maybe
I saw
maybe
that.
they want more control about what you can cast at the time.
But most of the spells were just standard actions before, and you could easily.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I think that may be part of their attempts to, marshal caster disparity.
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't know. How
Yeah,
I
I
feel
don't know,
about
man.
that, but
Yeah. Anyway, doesn't
okay.
work.
Can I delay my turn then?
Sure. Does delay save? I think that's basically just waiting out the initiative, right?
Yeah.
Sitting out. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna go after. Well, I guess I can determine when later, but really I want to go after Samir.
Okay. And Elfman.
Well, Elfman sees how these centipedes scatter towards him, so he spins out his staff, yelling by the white winters, "Oh shit!" And he hits one of the centipedes with his staff. Okay, that didn't really work. So yeah, well, okay. I mean, see you later. Gaming, Samir, get better there, and he runs away. So, that you don't believe me what's happening in there, Ulric? Yeah, and as his last action, he will create a shield cantrip, just in case.
Okay. Samir. Samir is now advancing. Oh, you need to give me a fortitude save again.
Okay. Does the poison have any effect on ability scores or anything like that?
No, only a flat-footed does anything, but I don't think so. 16. Okay. Let me check if a single save is enough to ward off the affliction, if it doesn't say otherwise. On a success, you reduce the stage by 1 and take the effects of that stage. So basically, when you add stage, what happens with stage? If the affliction stage is ever reduced to lower than stage, then the affliction ends, and you don't need to attempt further saves. Okay. So before it could get any worse, you managed to resist. Still have your turn.
Okay, so he's going to take a flurry of blows against this guy.
The first one hits, and oh no, that was the save. So both of these miss.
And then he's going to take a step. He's going to straight up stride outside.
Say, get out of there, Samir.
Run away
All right.
action!
Okay, now that you finally all made it out of the cave, you will hear their clickering sounds as they retreat back into the rubble because they have no interest in following you.
I was getting ready to do something cool. Damn it. Okay.
Well, okay, allow me to do something cool then.
Save it for later.
Well,
or let's do it too. I'm just gonna toss off a few produced flames into the hallway there, just to stay away. Scary. Fire. You don't like fire.
As if it wasn't burned enough already.
Okay, and Elfman meanwhile will try to use another heal spell, if you don't mind.
Oh, I don't mind.
Yeah, but this time I will use it at full power, so to speak, and it will draw a circle around all of us and use all 3 actions to cast it on 30 foot radius, I think, by healing all of us
Nice.
by 4 hit points.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you can just do that?
Yep.
Just like that?
Yep. Just use all of your actions.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Heal basically now works if by just touch is a somatic casting, one action, to shoot a ball of healing at the undead is a somatic and verbal casting, and to basically channel energy is to do everything at once.
That's cool.
That is quite cool, especially
It's
for
like
a
a low-
sorcerer.
It's like a low grade channel energy. Yeah. What is the
Yeah, what is the material component?
what is the material? Yeah, that's exactly what I was just looking at.
Well, it doesn't say it. Basically, whatever you have in your material component sack on your belt.
Yeah, it just says material casting.
Yeah, and
Specific.
and basically, if you're a cleric, you can just wave around your holy symbol.
Yeah, but you're not a cleric, that's why I was wondering.
And because I'm a sorcerer, I can just move around really vigorously, because sorcerers can substitute somatic casting for material casting.
Oh, I see. That's probably how that works then.
Yeah, that's why I kind of drew a circle around us.
But do they not tell you when there's material casting what the component is? Because I always like that.
They might only do it if it's.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
If it is specific, they should tell you, I suppose. But I probably will see something.
But I like to know that grease needs a stick of butter to be cast and stuff like that.
I mean, it seems like they're not. Maybe if there's like a material component that has a specific value, it'll be listed. But if you just look at the generic entry, it just says material casting.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's too bad.
Sometimes it demands a focus or something.
That is too bad.
Man.
Okay, anyway.
I've been having fun with that in 5e. I've been making my casters have the materials on it. Huh. Okay. Well, do we even want to bother with this last room or just go north?
East.
East. Northeast.
How did we ever get out of the forest with your navigation skills?
I did not take the no direction cantrip. I'll take a peek down here as we're going past. Does it look like it's worth investigating?
Well, it depends. The walls of the gently curving passageway are covered in thin, fibrous tendrils that connect to a large mass of red fungus growing in the center of the small vault.
Yeah, we're leaving that alone.
The central mass is almost 3 feet high, from which several long, pale gray stalks have extended upward to brush against the ceiling.
Actually, I will make a nature check on that. Recall knowledge.
Yep.
Which is quite high as far as level 1 goes.
Nice. You identify this particular fungus as what's called a mind fog fungus. It's a quite strange hazard that grows in some underground places, and it aggressively spreads its spores in a cloud, and if it is very weak to fire, but if it is burned, it releases its spore cloud even more viciously than if it was just cut down in some other way. But it is the effect of its spores are that they are stupefying anyone who cannot resist their influence.
like many things in the natural world, if you leave it alone, it'll leave you alone.
I agree.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Besides, we can't eat it, so...
Not that kind of fungus.
Exactly.
Okay. You head east, and the scene slightly changes from these passageways with the burial niches into more more of a where is it? Into more of a mausoleum kind of style. And as you walk through that hallway, you can already dripping echoes out from the chamber that you now find yourself in. On the north side of the room, so to the left, there's a nearly 10-foot tall visage of a woman's face that's carved into the wall. Trickles of water run down her cheeks like tears into a foul and polluted reservoir below, which itself drains to a large pool of fetid black water on the south side of the room.
That's disgusting. Can I recognize the woman?
Can you what?
Can I recognize her? The image. Thanks to my new feat, I have the well, I have the knowledge nobility basically.
I think that even without a check, you would recognize the face as a depiction of Pharasma, the goddess of birth, death, and fate.
I actually never knew how she looked like. I only knew her by the spiral, but well, it's okay.
Fitting for it too.
There are two doors made of ancient wood, one to the east and one to the south.
Any preferences?
Well, we already came to this door, so we might as well try that.
South it is, then. Come on, little hobbit. No.
Then you try the door, but it turns out that it's locked.
Okay. You finally need my expertise, I see. Probably will say Mericiel. And she would try to open the door, I suppose.
Okay. Give me a thievery check.
Mericiel is locked out.
Oh. There you go.
Oops. And her...
Okay.
What
Thievery.
Thievery?
She has +4.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything about taking 20? Does that still exist?
I'm not sure that exists anymore. I don't think you can take 10.
But I mean, we can always simulate that by just trying and
Having
trying.
her try 20 times.
Well, not really, because there is a critical failure, which undoes one of the successes gained.
Oh, it takes multiple successes?
Yep.
Jeez.
So this roll is not a success.
The 19 is not a success.
I guess we're not going in this door.
Oh well. Mericiel will probably have her pride somewhat injured by this, but
Well, is there a gap in the door anywhere? The floor, the ceiling?
Well, a tiny little bit, yeah.
Small enough for, or large enough for, say, insect?
An insect? Like, what kind of insect?
Like a kind of my choosing. Like, say, a, let's go with, like
The size of an ant or something?
a spider?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Give me a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see if this is worth our time. And I will wild shape to my pest form of a spider.
Nice.
Okay. And that does it say a size category? Is it diminutive or is it
Pest form. Wrong thing. Oh, Roll20 needs to just get with it and get the sheets on here as soon as possible. It might actually be tiny.
is it a spider that's in the
It is
category?
into a non-threatening animal such as a cat, rat, insect, or lizard. Tiny. Tiny non-threatening animal.
Okay, but tiny, like, so cat, the size category of a cat.
But it also, it includes everything from cat to insect, or rat, or lizard. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean rats can squeeze.
Rats are pretty squeezy, right?
Yeah, they can squeeze.
I could go rat.
Yeah, let's go with rat.
Okay.
yeah, cat-sized spiders
They can
fucked
squeeze.
up.
Or under a door, and you squeeze through, and you find yourself door.
Broke up a little bit.
You find yourself in a narrow hallway.
Okay. I will tread forward carefully, running along one corner, one edge of the wall.
Okay, and as you do so, you spot at the end of the hallway there is a set of stairs that goes south, and there is a statue right in front of you, a tall stone statue depicting a beautiful woman in ceremony that stands in an alcove here. I forgot to put the artwork onto the map. Let me just fix that real quick. The woman clutches a dagger with one hand, and red sand swirls within the hourglass, moving of its own will. And I can your picture. Okay.
Huh.
Huh.
That seems vaguely familiar, but I'm not. That doesn't seem like Pharasma. I mean,
Oh,
Pharasma does do. Oh, it is Pharasma.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, then that's okay, I guess. Pharasma's a new god, and life and death, very natural part of the cycle of existence. So I have a good feeling about where
Wait.
I'm waiting.
As you tell yourself, I have a good feeling.
I die.
No, you step in front of the statue. Okay, so to the south, there's the set of stairs that leads down to a door, and to the north, there's more of the passage that seems to branch off to the east in just a couple of steps, and also takes you further down the hallway.
Right. Okay. Gonna head this way real quick. Peek down this way.
Down this way, there's a narrow flight of stairs that winds downward, descending into a circular chamber. And there's stone beers or buyers? Beers?
Beers, I guess.
Beers?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm familiar with that one.
No.
Might be a buyer.
Beer, apparently. It's called a
Beer.
beer. Beers. So there are stone beers that line the bodies that may have once rested scattered across the.
You're breaking up a lot right now, but
I don't know why that is. I'm sorry.
There's tombs in there with bodies. Is that what I got?
No, it's not tombs. So there are the stone biers that line the wall, but the bodies that may have once rested upon them now lie scattered across the floor.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess a beer is like a thing that a body placed
Yes.
on. Okay.
Yes.
Ceremoniously.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't seem concerning at all. But I think I see what I need to see.
Yeah, from where you're right now, you see this narrow stairs, these narrow stairs winding down into what looks like a natural cave. And give me a perception check.
I don't remember if there's anything different about my perception in this form. Where did pest form go? Bring it back. Pest form, it just says AC, natural attacks, weakness, speed. If I have dark vision naturally, does that mean I get downgraded to low light vision when I'm
Yeah,
in
I think
pest
so.
form?
I mean, you get the dark vision.
Okay.
I would guess so.
I have scent as well.
Okay, but if you only have low light vision, then I have to describe to you.
I can't technically see anything in here.
Yeah, because it's just completely dark.
So stupid. Okay. I run around in the dark along some walls. I'm basically trying to make 3 lefts. That's what I've been trying to do, and
Yeah.
so far that's been okay. I assume I can smell some decaying stuff coming from that one hallway. So I have scent.
Well, more of like a musty.
A musty, very. Okay.
Yeah, it's not decaying.
Very
like
long dead.
Very long dead, old tomb.
Okay. And I guess I can't make a perception check down the hall.
Well, you have send, so why don't you still?
Okay.
Okay. You smell goblin stench.
Great. Excellent. All of the best information gathered just with my convenient little rat nose. And I assume I can see light spilling out from under this door here.
Yes, but in the light that spills out from under the door, you can also see that there is in fact a number of pieces of armor suspended by rope, set up in a way that anyone who would open the door, which swings into the hallway when opened, anyone who would open the door would create quite a clatter.
Okay. I don't think there's a ton I can do about that as a rat. So
yeah, but it looks like if you were to open the door very slowly, you could probably prevent this alarm system from triggering. It's not very intricate or elaborate.
I was alright. I guess okay then. In that case, I will run under the armor, skitter, 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 and squeeze myself under the door,
Shoop.
and pop back out here, and unwild shape.
Well, it was a little dark back there for me to see an awful lot, but I can first of all confirm that both of these doors lead to the same place. Secondly, that if we try to pass through this door I just came out of, we will trigger an alarm. However, I think there's a way that slowly we can circumvent it. Let's see, there were some interesting smells back there. A little bit of a musty, sort of long dead sort of smell, and definitely some goblins straight to the east. So we have a variety of options back there, but go through this door, we should be careful.
I wonder if those goblins would be open to conversation. Sighs Elfman. I wouldn't be betting on that though.
Would you like to try the door?
I elect that we have our resident, Mrs. Nimblefingers, give it a try.
I agree. We probably really should leave it to specialists.
All right, so she very slowly and then something begins to slide on the other, but she reaches through the gap and catches it before it can start an avalanche of rusty metal. And finally, the way is clear.
Well, onward then.
Tread quietly. There's goblins straight to the east of us here.
And your light is shining
Yes.
in the hallway.
And well, we are boldly coming, so to speak.
Never mind, not quiet at all.
Well, I did lower my voice. What else do you expect of me?
I guess at least we didn't raise the alarm.
You know, I mean, you expect us to just blow forward in darkness? That's completely not productive.
As we're going forward, Ulric is going to spend another spell point to activate his wild claws again. But he's gonna. God, can I wait? I have to wait until I see them, but I guess it has to be initiative. Okay, because it only lasts for a minute. So, all right, I won't do it. Minute we spot them on, though.
Okay.
Is this the way? Is this the way?
Ulric points east, which is up on the map. He says,
Smelled goblins down there. There's other strange things if we head this way. Undead, I think. Well, I suspect. At least they're dead. I don't know if they're undead. Something. Well, I don't know. He didn't see anything, so all he knows, I just smelled something dead. I mean, it makes sense in a sepulcher like this. But just watch for goblins coming up behind us, Mericiel.
All right. Samir moves into the room. I can describe it again to you. So, narrow flight of stairs winds downward, descending into the circular chamber, and the stone biers line the wall. But the bodies that may have once rested upon them now lie scattered across the floor. As Samir walks from one body to the next one, and then taking a look at the stone biers, we will roll. Okay, I think I'm beginning to understand how initiative, because you don't do perception checks and stealth checks, you just roll initiative and then see who notices what. Okay, so yeah, as Samir walks into the chamber, he notices that the bodies, the skeletons of the people that were once interred begin to move. And Mericiel spots that from a mile away, apparently, and is actually the first one to act.
Mericiel is probably going to say something like, "We have a choke point," and she'll move back. And that's it for her turn.
Okay, and then Samir.
Samir will find that very wise, and he will stride over here.
All right. Elfman?
And he's going to take just one action to enter wolf stance. That's it.
Okay. All right, Elfman.
I suppose he still can at least see one of the skeletons here. So, even though the space here is tight, he will yell, "Unrested spirits, we mean you no harm!" And he shoots a ray of frost right at that one.
Okay. And you hit it, but even though your ray of frost has so far been quite devastating, it only does very little damage to the skeleton.
Yeah, and he will hide behind a corner.
Ulric.
Ulric is going to step back here, and he is going to cast a spell on the one that Elfman hit. He's going to cast Disrupt Undead cantrip.
Okay. So walk us through that.
Which I will do as soon as I've got it on my screen, right? Spelling, what? Where'd it go? It's on my spell list.
Disrupting weapons. Here it is. Disrupt Undead 216. Or 15. It deals 1d10 positive damage, range 30 feet.
There we go. Yeah. 1d10 positive damage. And the target makes a fort save.
Okay.
Is that actually within 30 feet? Yeah, oh yeah.
Failed its save. Possibly crit failed.
Double damage,
yeah.
and it is enfeebled.
What do you need? You need to know my DC?
Yep.
It's 15?
Then it crit failed. So it takes double damage.
Nice.
And is enfeebled.
Yes, my DC is 15.
Okay, so it indeed crit failed and will take double.
So, do I roll 1d10 or 1d10 and double it, or 2d10?
2d10.
Wow. 10.
There are a few rules that reference the extra dice from criticals.
Yeah, that's right.
I think
that should kill it, though.
It obliterates the skeleton. The rest of them, however, they stir a little bit, and they were about to rise, but now that everyone moved out of the, they just kind of go back down, and whatever animated them seems to fade away.
I see.
Did there seem to be anything else of interest in that room for the 2 seconds we were there?
Well, that was pretty much all you could notice. If you wanted to take a closer look, you'd have to get rid of the skeletons.
Is this worth it to anyone
Well,
here to deal with
we
goblins?
Yeah, we were sent to deal with goblins. Yeah. If we really need
Where
some.
do we go?
Well, if you, technically speaking, let me see. Elfman will step somewhat. If he steps here, well, I suppose it's not inside of the tomb just yet. And he will use detect magic to see if maybe some magical emanations come from this chamber.
Also, couldn't I just stand at the threshold and disrupt undead them one after another?
I'm not getting what you're doing. So are you walking into the chamber now? Or are you not walking into it, Elfman?
No, he stays right here at this very point.
Okay, and then?
Detects magic on the
Detect magic.
30-foot aura. I send a magical pulse that registers presence of magic.
There is magic in this room.
10. I can ignore magic that are my party members have, but we don't have any magic. So, yeah, and Elfman relegates that. Well, I detect some magical auras in there, but well, then again, it might be the skeletons.
Here, let me try something.
Okay, yeah, they would probably switch places then.
Yeah. Ulric's gonna try standing there, and he's gonna disrupt undead on, like, one of the skeletons that he can see. Say, right next to the one that has already been killed.
Okay. Gonna get its fortitude save. Crit failed again.
Wow. Wow.
And you obliterate that one too, but that causes the rest of them.
Okay, that was a bad idea.
Oh, come on, Ulric, you're really good at this.
It's abusing the system.
Okay, perception for initiative.
Samir and Mericiel did not expect such stupidity on our part, I suppose.
Looks like it, and yeah. So the skeletons here and there, they're gonna stay where they are, and then they're gonna fill in the gap, and all three of them are going. Can they attack Ulric in melee?
Cover.
Around the corner, yeah. You get +2, right?
Yeah, if you say so. Yeah, cover's just a straight +2, unless I take cover.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the first one from which you have cover is going to try and attack you with his claw. 18.
Yeah, it hits.
And then it's going to try to attack you again with its agile claw. -4 is another 18.
Ugh.
And
That's
one
even with
last
the
claw.
-4?
Yep, that's already in there.
Okay.
And then another -4, that's a 12.
Yeah, that misses.
Okay, so 2 of them hit their agile. That's 1d4. So that's a total of 2d4 points of damage. slashes you for 7 points of damage.
Ouch. Ouch.
The one that moved and is right in front of you. 22 and twice 18. So
Holy shit.
He does 5 points of slashing damage to you, and then the last one in the pack does misses again, and 16.
No, not with the cover.
Okay, so misses 3 times. The rest of the skeletons, the other two, sort of move up and they try to reach past their allies, or they're trying to get to Ulric. They can't. And then it's Ulric's turn.
Ulric is gonna yell, "Back up again, everybody!" And delay his turn.
Okay, Mericiel.
He is going to step back, and that's it for her turn.
Samir.
He is going to do the same thing, opening up the passage.
Okay, Elfman.
Boom. I have my last spell slot open, but technically speaking, it is for my charm spell. But if you allow me to use it for healing, I will heal Ulric now.
Can't you choose what you spend the slots on? It's not like it's... As a sorcerer, it's not like you have to say...
I need to... I was under the impression that it was granted me.
I think this is like a domain slot.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, okay.
I will check once more.
Oh, is this a special thing that you're getting, not just from the class?
It is a bloodline thing. Basically,
oh, okay, then
my bloodline thing gives me a charm spell and a spell slot to cast it with, basically.
Alright, never mind then.
Yeah, you automatically learn the spells listed. At first level, you gain a cantrip first level spell.
I think I'll be okay. I hope.
No, wait. Whenever you gain a spell from your bloodline, you also gain a spell slot, which you can use to cast any sorcerer spell, so I can heal you.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, Elfman will pat Ulric on the back, on the shoulder, like, well, hang in there. Boink.
Nice.
Yeah, and he will also run away.
Right.
I would assume Ulric wants to take his turn now.
Ulric will take his turn. He's going to raise his shield. He's gonna back up.
So steps and strides.
Yeah, I guess that's all I'm gonna do. So shield raised, step back, then stride the rest of the way. Stand right there.
And then the skeletons just kind of they lose all of their tension, and they move back to the corners, and then you can hear them fall down.
I just want to do something cool.
Those are some real weak-willed skeletons.
All right, I don't think this is worth our time.
Okay, we probably can return here later, right? If we really feel like it.
I do want to check out. There's a strange scent over here. I couldn't quite place it though. Before we go for the goblins, I just want to see with my proper dwarven eyes.
And there you see her in her full beauty, the stone statue with the hourglass that's filled with this strange red swirling sand.
Ooh.
Hey, Elfman, I don't suppose you could give that a magical glance I haven't opened up on my detect magic today.
I could, of course, try to detect magic.
Oh, wait. Wait. Because Elfman moved past the statue and
Oh.
took a step upstairs. As soon as you do that, swirling sand bursts forth from the hourglass and fills the corridor for 10 feet in each direction, so it catches all of you. And we're gonna go into initiative.
Oh,
I guess that answers that.
yeah, it was a trap. See?
Good work, Elfman.
Okay. So Mericiel actually is first. She starts her turn surrounded by this swirling sand, and she'll have to make a fortitude save.
Fortitude. Okay.
Okay. She fails and chokes and takes 5 points of damage.
Uh, do we see where the scent ends?
10 feet in each direction.
So, like, from here to here?
I'm trying to draw. I don't know what doesn't work. Here we go. There, you should be able to see it.
Okay. Does she... Is this the statue? Because I can't really see there.
Yep.
Can she take some sort of action to see if there's a mechanism?
Sure. She can try to disable it. So, thievery. Is she trained in thievery? Yeah, right?
She is.
A 9. That's not good enough. And how many actions are disabling?
Let me check.
Disable the device is a single action.
Well, for her... What else can she do? Can she try again?
Sure.
This is so weird. Multiple attempts on the same turn? What?
Yeah. And okay, she removes the hourglass, but the sand is still swirling.
Does she see that? And like, is there something else that she can try disabling?
No, well, she used her actions, right? Oh no, she still has one action left.
Yeah.
No, that's. I mean, that's all she can do. Is remove the hourglass. There's nothing else about this statue that's out of the ordinary.
Okay, well, in that case, she's going to take a stride to move out of the sands.
Okay. Ulric. I will need a fortitude save from you. Nope, sorry. Samir first. I keep doing that.
Fortitude.
And you failed, so you take 1 point of damage from choking.
Samir will also move out of the way, and that'll be it for his turn.
All right, Ulric. You make your save.
And he's gonna back to the hall. Stride.
All right, Elfman, fortitude save.
Is it okay if I end a stride and begin another stride in somebody else's square? It's just have to be I
Yeah.
can't end my turn there.
I think you
Or
just
my
can't
movement
end
there.
your turn. Yeah, I think you could just can't end your turn there.
Okay.
I would think so. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. Okay, you make a save.
Okay, so he will take a deep breath and... So this is a door, right?
Do you want to take the actual action? Because taking a deep breath is an action.
Yes, it is an action. Yes, he will take it.
Okay.
So to avoid choking in the future.
I mean, you're gonna breathe in the sand, but
Well, no. Well, I already saved against that, so I suppose.
I guess so.
You know, so, well,
Is this an action?
yes, it's a special action. Now I can basically hold my breath for twice as long.
Interesting.
And he will run through completely opposite direction. He will try to open this door.
Okay. So you take a couple of steps over there and try to open the door. Okay. Doesn't seem to be locked, but it's stuck. Give me an athletics check if you want to push it open.
Athletics check. I have athletics completely untrained and at -1 because I'm untrained.
Okay, but it's enough. And you burst open the door. And as you do so, you behold the room beyond. While that room may have been used as a shrine long ago, its contents are ghastly mockery of former purpose. To the south, so all the way to the right, an altar upon a raised dais is surrounded by mosaic depicting a stern woman with long flowing white hair, all of which has been slathered in filth and gore. The whole area reeks of decay and cloying, clotted blood. You see what can only, or who can only, because the taker.
You're breaking up real bad.
I don't know what to do about that. So is it still breaking up? Is it better now?
A little bit.
It's periodic and it just drops out completely. It's not even like static.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
It's like some sort of the what's it called? The threshold to detect.
Yeah, I haven't changed anything, so I don't think that's it. Anyway, so where did I drop out?
A ghastly, smeared with filth statue.
Okay. And hunched over that altar, there is an imposing figure that can only be Drakus the Taker. He is a hobgoblin, it appears, and he seems to be busy feeding on a recently slain goblin that he's placed onto the altar. There's still blood running from his strange three-pronged tongue, which is certainly not a hobgoblin trait.
Yeah.
So we'll enter him into the initiative. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
and here I spent my last spell slot that I could use to try to charm him.
You what?
I was wondering that I have spent all my first level spell slots while I could try to charm him later. Now that I'm basically face to face.
Okay, but you still have an action, so what are you going to do with that action?
Well, I mean, obviously, Elfman will step forward because he was still choking on this thing.
Okay, you step into the room.
Yeah.
Mericiel? The sand is still swirling, but you're out of the cloud, so you don't have to do a fortitude save. And it's not so thick that you can't see that Elfman opened the door on the far side, but it's probably hard to tell any specifics, and you don't have line of sight to Drakus, so you don't know that he's there.
What do you guys think?
Try smashing that hourglass. See if it clears the sand.
Yeah.
Okay, she smashes the hourglass, but the sand still swirls.
That's some very cunning trap.
Is there something that she could do to protect herself from the sand while running through it?
Well, not end your turn in it.
Oh.
Yeah, if you just rush through, you'll probably be fine.
Okay, so her speed is 30 feet. So she needs to stride twice. So she's going to stride a first time. And she's going to step over here. I guess that's all her actions.
Okay, so she will also see Drakus the Taker now. And Samir.
We'll do the same thing. First stride.
Okay, and Ulric?
Just a second, please. I don't see.
A token? Yeah, that's fine. That's intentional.
Okay.
I think Ulric is gonna have to.
Huh?
I'm thinking he's gonna have to stride 1, 2, 4. Use all of his stuff to do that. Are those stairs like hampering terrain, or can you move over them normally?
I think you can move over them normally.
Okay. Oh. So I'm going to. Well, okay. I don't actually know there's a threat, right? So I'm just gonna keep moving. 5, 10, 20.
Yeah, nobody has said anything. Everybody just moves into that room and it's just like, huh.
All right. Guess I'm following.
Yeah.
End up over here.
And well, since now Elfman is surrounded by his faithful companions, he has.
Well, it's not your turn.
Oh yeah, I mean it's about to be.
Ulric, that was your turn?
Yeah, that was all 3 actions.
Okay. So Drakus lets go of the goblin that's on. Wipes his mouth, licking his lips with his weird 3-pronged tongue, and then he laughs a very strange sounding laugh. It just seems to be almost as if it's several voices at once. And he whistles through his teeth, and a giant rat pokes its nose out from behind the altar. And then he begins to change. His face starts to blur, and his skin takes on a more reddish color and almost begins to look like exposed flesh without skin at all, but leathery somewhat. And all of the features of his face blur away until it's only a grotesque knob with no particular face on it, only unsettling whorls and slits instead of actual features.
That is disgusting.
There he is. And then he comes running down the stairs. And apparently he gets to change as a free action. So now he took a move. He took a stride action over there. And oh no, it's not a free action. Revert form is an action. Okay. Yeah, and because it is so terrifying to behold, he actually now has a little bit of an edge on. He gains a bonus. And he's going to use that to attack Samir with his longsword. 2 times. First time. And
That's a crit.
time. Okay. Let's see.
So a crit is 10 over your AC?
Yep.
So
Plus
that's,
12. God.
2d8 plus 6. That's the crit. 17 points of damage.
And we're going to learn about the dying rules.
All right.
Shit.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, let's see.
volunteer.
I need a volunteer. Anyone?
So if I remember correctly, it's just drop to 0, right? I think.
Oh, right. And we totally forgot about hero.
Oh. Well,
So you have your hero point. Let's see what you can do. Spending 1 hero point allows you to stave off death anytime you gain the dying condition or your dying condition increases in severity. You can spend 1 hero point to lose the dying condition entirely. And if you have 0 hit points, you also go to 1 hit point.
Is that the... Oh, where are hero points?
But let's see what would normally happen. So when you're reduced to 0 hit points, you get knocked out. When this happens, you're subject to the following effects. You fall unconscious. You immediately move your initiative position to directly before the creature that knocked you unconscious. So you move here. If the attack was lethal, you gain the dying 1 condition. You already had the dying condition. If the attack was a critical hit, you gain the dying 2 condition. So you now have the dying 2 condition. And you could spend a hero point to move that to dying 1. If your dying condition reaches 4 or greater, you die.
Okay. Is there anything else about hero points, like
Well, you need
completely dodging?
you need more of those, I think, to force rerolls or something.
What page
No.
is that? What page are you on?
That's more expensive. That costs 2 or 3. So.
Well, I guess dying 1 it is.
Okay, so you spend the hero point to reduce it to dying 1. That was only his first attack. So he's then going to take a step to move to Mericiel. His giant rat comes scurrying down the stairs and joins its master, trying to attack Mericiel. Has a speed of 30, so that's okay. And then it's going to try to bite her Once, misses, and twice. 15?
Miss.
Okay, misses. Elfman.
Well, we are so fucked. At this point, Elfman will try to spend one of his spell points and use his Fairy Dust ability to cover this space with Fairy Dust.
So what happens?
Wait, I will read it to you. Spells. Fairy Fire, no. Fairy Dust. Each creature in the area attempts a will save, and if they fail, they can't use reaction and take -2 on perception checks, and on critical fail, they fall asleep. This is an enchantment mental ability.
Okay, so let's see. He's gonna try to save first.
Motherfucker.
And the red.
And the red falls asleep. I suppose. Right?
It's a failure, so it's not a crit failure.
Okay.
So the creature can't use reaction and takes a -2 penalty to perception. That is underwhelming.
Well, it is a first level ability, and I kind of hope
Right.
it will fall asleep.
Okay. So you
Well,
still have one action?
I still have one action. We probably really should run away. So how many of us agree with this? But no, we can't leave Samir here, so I will raise my force shield.
Okay. Mericiel?
Well, I guess she's going to try to stab Dracus. Yeah, might as well try.
Can she try to feint him or something to...
I don't see anything like that.
Catfall, experienced smuggler, nimble dodge.
Is Mericiel not using
Not using?
agile weapons?
Oh, right, I forgot.
Because then the second one is a hit.
Okay. Okay, so damage is piercing.
Six points of damage. Okay. And yeah, even though his skin has this leathery texture, weapons seem well equipped to deal with that. Okay, that was her turn. Ulric? Anthony?
Sorry, muted. Ulric's gonna move over here. And then he's going to cast Stabilize and touch Samir, giving him 1 hit point.
Nice. So he's
So
no longer dying and conscious?
No, he still has dying. He's conscious, but at the end of his round, as long as he still has 1 hit point at the end of his round, his dying condition will reduce by 1.
Okay. Okay. So then it's Samir's turn. So when you're unconscious at the start of your turn, you attempt a special fortitude saving throw to gain consciousness called a recovery saving throw. Sets the DC of your recovery saving throw when your DC equals the DC of the spell or ability that dropped you plus your current dying value. What? The damage that reduced you to 0 hit points came from something that doesn't have a such an attack roll. Attack is class DC. Where do I find the class DC?
Class DC, I think the general rule is that it's 10 plus level plus the, what's it called? The
key characteristic.
Key, voilà, key ability.
How would I know the key ability?
Well, he's a monk, so it's wisdom probably.
No, that's for the attacker.
Dracus's key ability. Really? It's based off of Dracus?
Yeah, because he's the one who sets the DC, right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
So
the DC equals... the DC comes from the ability that drops you.
Yeah, use
So
the
it's-
attacker's class DC.
It's harder to wake up based on what knocks you unconscious?
Yep.
That's kind of weird.
Well, although it does kind of make
For
sense.
monsters, the GM will use a
sort of
high
makes
difficult.
sense.
Here, for monsters, the GM will use a high difficult skill DC of the monster's levels. Page 33. Okay.
I guess it makes sense. If you're at low hit points and you get lightly tapped by a club and go unconscious, I guess that's different from getting thrown across the room and like slammed into a wall and going
Okay,
unconscious.
I have the DC.
Okay,
So-
but I think it doesn't really apply in this case because I have 1 hit point. Because when you have 1 hit point, the condition automatically reduces by 1.
At the end of your turn.
Yeah, at the end of your turn. So
Oh. And so,
the possible
so
effects of recovery
okay.
save depend on whether you're at 0 or at 1. Definitely, you still need to make a recovery DC.
Okay. So recovery
Fortitude save.
is fortitude. Nope.
Okay, so you failed. You are at 1 hit point.
So it just counteracts it.
What?
So it just counteracts it. I go to die in 2, and then because I have 1 hit point, I go back to die in 1.
No. The possible effects of recovery save depend on whether you're at 0 hit points or at 1 hit point. If you are at 1 hit point or more, you become if you become but since you failed, there's just nothing happens.
Oh.
Just remain
Okay.
unconscious.
So
Okay,
nothing happens from the recovery save. And then at the end of your, well, you have at least 1 hit point and are conscious, but you're not. Okay, so you're not conscious. You still need to make your recovery.
Okay.
Okay. Drake is the taker.
But he's no longer undying. He's no longer dying now because of stabilize.
That's a specific thing that stabilize said?
Stabilize reduces his dying value. It gives him 1 hit point, and it reduces his dying value by 1 at the end of his turn.
Okay, so he's no longer
Until he's
dying.
no longer dying. Yeah.
Wait.
Okay.
Oh, so it stays ongoing, or do you have to recast it? Because that's...
I'm pretty sure that it's navigated away from. I'll pull it back up. It was S. I'm pretty sure it's ongoing until you no longer are dying, but I will double check. Stabilize says. Oh. Stabilize just says a single shot touches death's door. The target goes from 0 hit points to 1 hit point. But if you go to the dying rules, it says if you're dying,
Blah blah. If you have one or more hit points and are conscious.
Yeah. That's what we were just going through. So okay, so
Oh.
all the stabilizers take him to, which is good because that means that even if you failed your save, you don't slip further from.
Okay,
Okay.
so he still has to make his save to be conscious.
Yeah.
And he's still got one dying.
Yeah.
Okay. Heightened stabilize does remove levels of dying just
Right.
for future reference. Okay.
Okay, so Drake is the taker, takes a step, and then attacks Mericiel with the no longer with the bonus, but using his longsword. 15.
Nope.
Nope.
Good. Then he's gonna try again with a -5 on it. 16.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, he missed. Okay, I don't understand how multiple attacks work. I just realized. If a creature has he has a long, does he get to do both with one action?
You cut out for the crucial part there.
Does he get to do both with one action? Because
he has what?
He has a longsword and a claw, and there's only one action icon next to it.
No, I think basically each attack action you can choose which weapon to use or which attack to use. But like if you mean something like two-weapon fighting, there's
kind of like that.
I think there's a feat that basically just allows you to combine both attacks for the purposes of damage reduction and all that.
Okay.
But you still have to have it. It's called double slice, I think.
Let me just make sure that it works the same for monsters, because that's not necessarily... Reading creature statistics melee. The name of the weapon or unarmed attack the creature uses melee strike, followed by the attack bonus and traits in parentheses. Damage amount, then damage type plus any special effects. Yeah, okay, seems to be the same, because it doesn't call out anything that's oh, that's not for us, okay. Doesn't call out anything differently about monsters. Okay, so I guess then he would have to choose between claw and longsword. Yeah, so he did both of his attacks, and then it's the rat's turn, which takes the same or chooses the same target as. So that's a +6 for the first. Oh, that's a critical hit
against Mericiel.
Yep. And I will need a fortitude save from her, as she takes 7 points of damage.
Oof, that was the rat?
That was the rat. 15. Okay, that's all right. She's not catching anything.
She is dropped.
And she goes down. So it still has an attack left, so it's going to attack Elfman at -4. 17.
Even with my shield raised, it will hit. Can I make shield block before or after damage known?
Wait, just a second for Mericiel. She actually has a reaction where she can. Oh no, that does not help. That does not help. Sorry.
Okay. What was that about shield block?
I was wondering if I use a shield block before or after the damage is rolled.
Did you raise your shield?
Well, yes, I have cast my shield cantrip.
I mean, while you have your shield raised, you take damage from physical attack. That's the really take damage until I say.
1 second. Shield block reaction. While you have your shield, you take damage from physical attack. So, yeah, I can use my reaction to block that 1 point of damage.
Okay. So you block the 1 point of damage
Yeah.
using your shield. And then it's your turn.
Uh-huh. Shit, 1 second, I will need to check. Step, I carefully move 5 feet. It doesn't trigger reactions, so carefully step backwards. That is my one action. I need to check a little if my shield is probably gone because I discharged basically. Where is it? Spells? Where are spells? Spell turning, sleep, shrink, shield. Whilst it's done. Yeah.
So what are your actions?
Yeah, my action is to cast Ray of Frost at the Dracus the Taker.
Okay. What's your roll?
There it is.
Yeah, I can't see it. I have the PDF.
It is 18 and damage
It's a
is
hit?
2.
Okay. That's frost damage, which is fine. Okay. Yeah. So you flash freeze him for 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's Mericiel's turn. She is currently at dying 2. Because she got hit by a critical. What was that? That's a fortitude save. Doesn't make it, so where is points? Here it is. You're at 0 hit points. You failed your recovery, but you failed it normally, so your dying value dying 3 now. So she is very, very, very close to actually dying. Wait, we did that wrong. She moves in the initiative before the rat, so
Yeah.
she doesn't roll just yet. So it's Ulric's turn first.
Telling me that I've got to stabilize her too. Is that what we're saying? God, I can't even start to get into the combat. Form an emergency stabilize if we have to. I'm going to spend 2 actions to cast Wild Claws with another sorcery point,
Okay.
and I'm going to raise my shield. And that's my turn.
Okay. All right. Samir's turn is up again, so he gets to try another recovery. Fails once again, but since he's at 1 hit point, doesn't get worse. Drakus, with his face not even having a mouth, you can only guess what how smug he must feel about himself, having taken 2 of you down again.
With
He
2
moves
crits.
over. Yeah, he moves over to Ulric and with a stride, and then swings his long sword at him.
Come try me, monster. Yeah, he hits.
And-
Shield block reaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you just block the entire damage, or how does it work?
No, I block up to the hardness of the shield, which I think is 2.
Oops.
Oh my god, what the hell? Okay, yeah. So I still take 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I think your shield takes
A dent.
2 dents, maybe.
It'd just be 1 dent?
Because I think it's 1 dent per hardness.
That would make sense. For rules on dented 75.
It's only taking 2 damage. I would think it would only take 1
If an
dent.
item takes damage equal to or exceeding the item's hardness, takes a dent. If the item takes damage equal to or greater than twice its hardness on hit, it takes 2 dents.
Yeah, but it only absorbed 2 damage. So I would think it only takes 1 dent, right?
No. If the item takes damage equal to or greater than twice its hardness.
But okay, so it's only. But I'm still taking the damage. Is the item taking the damage and I'm taking the damage? Shouldn't it only be going to one or the other?
That's a good question. Well, you have a shield raise. You can use a shield block reaction. Okay, let's see. Shield.
Well, it says your shield prevents you from taking amount of damage up to its hardness.
Right.
Yeah, but does the shield take the full damage?
If it did, then I wouldn't take any. So I would think the shield only takes the damage that it absorbs.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because otherwise, I mean, we would only be able to use a shield 2 or 3 times.
I mean, I can still only use it like 2 or 3 times because I forget what its hit points are.
Yeah,
They're
no,
not-
that's exactly right. Your
makes
shield
sense.
prevents you from taking an amount of damage the shield's hard. The shield takes this damage instead. So the damage it absorbs is counted, but nothing beyond that. So it only takes 2 points of damage.
Right. So it takes 1 dent. It doesn't take damage. It just takes
No,
dents.
What's its hardness?
2, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Heavy shield. Heavy wooden shields have they grant an AC bonus at 2. It doesn't tell you what the hardness of the shield is in the chart.
It's listed with the materials.
I have to find wood.
Yeah, and then you have to find thin wood.
What? No, really?
Yep, there's iron and wood, and then there's thin objects made of iron or wood.
That should. I mean, the hardness is super important for the shield if they have rules.
Yeah, it should really be in the shield chart.
Yeah.
Let's see. Materials, yeah. 176. Oh, no. Nope. Detailed on 354.
No, those are the special materials.
Nope. There's the regular ones too.
Oh, yeah.
So there's thin wood. Where's wood?
Thin wood? Really?
Yep. 3. Hardness 3.
Oh, 3. Okay. I'll take that.
Okay, so, alright.
God,
So you absorb that damage. And then he still has one more swing at a -5. 19.
God, yeah, that hits.
Another 10.
I'm unconscious.
TPK. TPK.
The rat scurries over here and tries to attack Elfman. And
This is supposed to happen, isn't it? This has got to be intentional.
11 is a miss. Then
No.
a 6 is a miss too.
Mm-hmm.
Elfman.
Well, will you blame me if I run away? You probably will.
I mean, where do you want to run? You have your back to the wall. You can't move past the rat.
Are you sure? I mean, I could try leaping. I have acrobatics.
Yeah, that you could try to move through its square then. So what are you doing?
Let me see. Acrobatics. Balance, maintain balance, squeeze, tumble through. You stride up to your speed. During this movement, you can try to move through the one space of the enemy. Attempt acrobatics checks against the enemy reflex. Boom. Are there still sand swirling in the?
Yes, the sandstorm is still going on.
That sucks.
So what do you do?
Well, let's try to do that then. So my acrobatics is +4. So I will, well, try to acrobatics my way around the giant rat.
That's against its reflex.
Mm-hmm.
Safety reflex DC, whatever that means. That's probably 10 plus reflex.
And you cut out?
That's probably it's the 10 plus its reflex modifier.
Mm-hmm. Which is?
3, so it's only 13.
Ha!
You move through its square, treating the squares and its spaces. All right, so I guess we can sum this up. Elfman hightails it out of there, runs through the swirling sandstorm outside.
No,
and
he stops and he shoots a freeze ray at the rat, I suppose.
Okay. Go ahead.
Are you gonna stop there?
Yes. And
In the sand?
Okay. You miss.
Mm-hmm. It is a natural one.
Yeah, you miss. And Samir.
Let's see.
Another recovery save. So close, but still no cigar. Ulric is at dying 1 and needs to make a recovery save.
Okay, so the DC for this save is, I'm sorry, it's
17.
and what are my modifiers?
It's just a fortitude
save.
It's just fortitude. Okay. All right.
Okay, you are at 0 hit points. You failed, so your dying value increased by 1. So I believe you're dying 2 now. I'm okay. So Elfman.
I think it's pretty clear that we can wrap this up here.
Yeah. So Dracus the Taker slams the door shut and then turns towards the 3 of you and begins to feast.
Yeah.
While Elfman can only tell of the horrors that he found inside the Ashen Armory, hoping that more powerful heroes will return to finish the job.
God.
Oh well.
Man, being in the dying condition is pretty sucks.
It
just
is
sucks.
brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Brutal.
guess in first edition, if you were unconscious and dying, you had no chance to regain consciousness, right? You could just stabilize. So technically, this at least gives you slim odds of waking up. But
Yeah, but now, even if you're fully healed, you're still unconscious, and you still
you're
need
still
to make that
unconscious.
save.
You're just not gonna die from the save.
Yeah, but which is interesting because basically now you can be in a coma
Yeah.
You cut out.
from the trauma.
Yeah.
Because it even can be, well, I guess a 20 is always a success, so after 20 rounds you would probably come to.
What is that? What are we supposed to do about that, Dracus? I mean, he hits hard enough that he's likely to land all of his attacks, at least his first two, and the damage he deals is like,
Yeah.
he could easily. If I didn't have the shield raised, he would have dealt enough damage to take me from full health to 0 in one set of attacks.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have used the sandstorm to have him try to like stand there.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of the plan of Elfman for the finale, but well.
No, I mean
didn't
he's
buy-
not stupid.
Yeah.
That would not work. Yeah,
What was he actually?
a faceless stalker.
Ugh. But not undead, so
Is that a new creature or
no,
an old
it
one?
was some.
No,
it's aberration.
They actually show up in the very first adventure path in the Rise of the Rune Lords, which is happening in game time right after these events. So it's kind of a
It's like a precursor.
shout out. Yeah,
A prequel. Damn.
basically.
And was
Yeah,
it
I don't
just
know. I mean, I guess it definitely is a very difficult encounter because it's just a very powerful creature and it even has a little buddy. I guess you need to you have all your resources still available if you want.
Yeah,
a chance.
probably we should have indeed just left for a moment to recharge and come back with full heals, with summon nature ally and all that things.
I guess
Is CR still a thing?
Not exactly. It doesn't give you a CR. It says high 1. I don't know what that means exactly.
it's a high first level encounter. High difficulty first level encounter, I'm gonna guess.
It's possible, yeah. And the skeleton room, the room with the 6 skeletons, is listed as severe 1.
Except for if you leave it, apparently.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I guess. I mean, part of the problem is that the trap goes off in the hallway outside of it, and then Elfman went for the door and went in, and that we all followed. That kind of like forced our hand to do it then and there. I guess we could have retreated as soon as we saw him, but
Yeah.
ugh.
Pretty brutal, definitely.
Your best bet's really just to ignore all of the stuff in the secondary rooms, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I was wondering why there's a 3-week period for playtesting only part 1. I guess it's gonna take a couple of attempts before we can really
Seems so.
book this one.